When I talk about the fact that the ClimateGate emails and computer programs show clear fraud, and people are now resigning, the Australian Parliament is falling apart, their ClimateGate legislation, their climate legislation, their takeover legislation, their tax legislation, their neo-feudalism legislation just fell through in Australia. There's investigations of all these people. More whistleblowers are coming out by the minute from universities saying they were ordered to engage in fraud and they're resigning. I mean, this is a criminal group of collectivists working for big foundations and banks that want a scientific dictatorship. We have John P. Holdren being grilled now about his involvement in ClimateGate. We have Al Gore saying he's not going to Copenhagen now and is going to cancel his lecture. And you know why? Because they don't want to give Lord Monckton, who'll be outside, media attention. Because they know people are going to be inside his lecture, if it's open to anyone, who are going to stand up and shout him down. I told you that everywhere he's going, and who pioneered this? We Are Change. And the real Tea Parties, not the compromised groups that have been taken over by the Republicans so they can control them, are shutting these people down because they can't have a real debate. Al Gore will never debate anyone that questioned man-made climate change. Notice it's not warming anymore. Now that that's been proven, it's getting colder now. Now it's change. Cycles can't change. They're unnatural. Seasons are unnatural. Polar bears can't swim. All these lies. His lie about carbon dioxide going up with temperature when it actually follows hundreds of years after. These are all base frauds. But here it is up on prisonplanet.com right now. Huge news. Gore cancels on Copenhagen lecture, leaves ticket holders in a lurch. It seems the uncertainty about Copenhagen is growing. When Al Gore pulls the plug, you know it's over. Here's another one. Holdren grilled over email controversy from the National Journal up on prisonplanet.com. In a hearing that was part sparring match and part high school science lesson, two of Obama administration's climate change experts, John Holdren, testified the day before the House Select Committee on Energy Independence and Global Warming about the validity of man-made climate change. From the start, Republicans focused on the conversation of the controversial hacked emails from East Anglia University's Climate Research Unit in England, in which a number of scientists made remarks about limiting the dissemination of work by climate change skeptics. Yeah, blocking them and persecuting them, and how to fix the data. The research center provides data for much of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's conclusions. See, this is the head group. The media is like, oh, it's just some backwater university. No big deal. No, this is the head group. See, they even lie about that, and people are catching them in this. Holdren, director of the White House Office on Science and Technology, who wrote Eco Science, this book right here, calling for drugging the water to sterilize you and to how to exterminate the population. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Got grilled. I'm going to play some of that next hour. I mean, this is getting just to be incredible. Also, Bernanke may have his confirmation held up as he's being grilled. That's coming up next hour when we cover the economy. But I got to move quick now. We are simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv right now. I want to move quick because we got 5 different groups of We Are Change on, and they're going to be joining us one after the other. And I want to have time to play some of the video clips and audio clips here for you that they've shot. And we're going to save the best for last, Chicago We Are Change. This is how it's done. Now, standing up is how it's done. I'm no armchair quarterback. People on the front lines just standing up and speaking out against him in front of hundreds of people and in front of TV cameras takes incredible courage. I'm just saying, you want to see a textbook for how it's done, you watch the Chicago video. But we're going to start with Nathan from We Are Change, Rhode Island. Club of Rome member Al Gore is asked by Nathan Florence of Rhode Island and Mark O'Connor of Boston about the New World Order, the COR's plan to eliminate 95% of humanity, and more. He chuckles because genocide is apparently funny to these people. And, of course, this confrontation happened before ClimateGate. Now it's all about ClimateGate. Then we've got Matt from We Are Change Nashville. That took over the TV and news headlines when they went out and just questioned him. See, we're taking over all his media, so it's backfiring. Now every time he speaks, it's all about ClimateGate. But if no one was there, he could have it one way. Oh, man, this is beautiful. I mean, this is victory. This is fighting in the trenches, ground pounders, ladies and gentlemen. Dan from We Are Change Toronto confronted Gore. We Are Change Florida confronted him. We Are Change Chicago. So that's who we've got coming on. First off is Nathan from We Are Change. Do we have Nathan and Mark O'Connor, or are we just going to Nathan? Okay, Nathan, good to have you here. Before we get into what you've been doing with Gore and how exciting it is from the inside to be witnessing this, we want your take on that. What do you think about him canceling his much vaunted speaking tour in Copenhagen?
I love it. It shows that we're making the impact that we always knew we would be. And it's just great to see these people cowering, and just like he does on the film, and you see that time and time again through these We Are Change confrontations.
Just like you always knew it would have an impact. That's right. You knew resistance was victory.
Yes, absolutely. And you see it, like I said, time and time again. He is a coward. He knows that he's wrong. He knows he's part of something wicked. And when you stand up against him, you see him shiver away like the little beast he is.
Well, they have their goons grab people every time.
Yeah,
even if you politely ask him questions, they do.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I think it's important that you be focused. If you're up close, just speaking a regular voice, but if they start dragging you away, screaming out, Climate Gate, which is happening, this is just beautiful. Tell us about this little short clip we're going to play from Rhode Island.
Okay, it was actually in Boston outside the Wang Theater on March 30th, 2009, a day before the first time We Are Change Chicago and Ohio confronted him. It was a speaker's tour that was traveling through some major cities, New York, Boston, Chicago, maybe some others. I can't. And
I want to point out, again, it's We Are Change that first went out and confronted Gore. Now the Tea Parties are mimicking it. That's how this spreads.
Yes. Yep, we had somebody on the inside. We didn't have tickets to the event, but we knew where the back door was. So Mark O'Connor and Mark from We Are Change Boston, waited. We got the cue. We kind of, seemed harmless. We were there. We were handing out DVDs, doing a kind of regular We Are Change street action, but not as obvious. And we waited, and we knew he was coming out the back door. I positioned myself amongst the crowd, the small crowd of people, because it was cold in Boston on that night, that wanted autographs, and managed to get myself right up to the front, tell Al Gore to his face, I had to play the part. You hear me in the beginning of the video be like, "Hey, brother, we know about your New World Order eugenics program. You will not succeed. Everything you talk about at the Club of Rome, Bilderberg, and the rest, your population control, Ted Turner's reduction of the population by 95%, none of this will go forward." I managed to call him a coward to his face. He doesn't respond. He hides. His security pushes us away, and he's escorted, by a police escort away.
We're going to go ahead and play the meat of this clip, and then be sure and plug your website, Nathan. We Are Change, working with We Are Change Boston, confronting Gore on the population reduction agenda. Here's that clip.
Mr. Gore, hey.
How you guys doing?
Hey, brother. Step back. Mr. Gore, we know about your New World Order eugenics program. Well, what do you think about that? Everything you guys discussed at the Club of Rome and Bilderberg, population control.
Thank you very much.
What do you think of Ted Turner's Turner's reduction of the population by 95%?
Sir, do you plan to reduce the Earth's human population by 95% like Ted Turner advocates? Do you plan to reduce the Earth's population of humans by 95% like Ted Turner advocates, sir? Can you please tell us?
You guys will not succeed.
Step back.
Oh, you step back. Hey, free humanity's waking up.
In fact, back that up. I want to read that quote from Al Gore from one of his disgusting books of propaganda that polar bears can't swim. Humanity is sitting on a time bomb. In the vast majority of the world's science are right. We have just 10 years to avert a major catastrophe that could send the entire planet's climate system into a tailspin of epic destruction involving extreme weather, floods, droughts, epidemics, and killer heat waves beyond anything we have ever experienced, a catastrophe of our own making. Al Gore, An Inconvenient Truth. And then when there's an earthquake or a flood or a fire, they say, look, it's happening. But it's always happening. Just the media points cameras at it and says it's the end of the world.
Yes. Yeah, and I would like to say I did a lot of reading before I made the decision to go get him. I mean, checking into the International Crisis Group, Brookings Institution, the IPCC documents going back to, I think it was founded by the UN in 1988. we really, Mark and I, you know, we looked up a lot of stuff, and I encourage everyone listening right now to read. Reading will open your eyes to all of this. They're real plans. Right now I'm reading a book by Peter Singer, who is friends with Paul Ehrlich, John Holdren. You know, there are quotes in this book from them, praise on the back cover from Holdren and Ehrlich. And this is called One World. This is a man that openly supports euthanasia, abortion, infanticide, global government. This stuff is real. This is
we own over 100 books by these people where they brag they're drugging our water supply. I mean, these are hardcore people.